Welcome to the Flourish.Academy podcast. My name is Heather Lahtinen, and I'm joined by my good friend Mara Chick. We both really enjoy reading books, and our mission is to help others grow professionally and personally. But we noticed when we recommend our favorite books to our friends and colleagues, they didn't really have the time to read them.
Just like Nike, just do it.
I wasn't quite sure where that was
I know.
going. Yeah.
So on this podcast, we do the reading so you can focus on your business. We will give you a breakdown on the books that we explore, offer differing viewpoints and tips on how to take action.
Today, we are continuing to look at The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy. And it's pretty important that you listen to these podcasts in order. So if you have not listened to the first podcast, you might want to go back and start there.
Okay, we're going to make our way straight to chapter 5 and right on into the book. And this chapter is all about influences. You must also realize your choices, behaviors, and habits are influenced by very powerful external forces. Most of us aren't aware of the subtle control these forces have on our lives. For you to sustain your positive trajectory toward your goals, you'll need to understand and govern these influences so they will support rather than derail your journey toward success. Everyone is affected by 3 kinds of influences: input, what you feed your mind; associations, the people with whom you spend time; and environment, your surroundings. Are you ready for this chapter?
Okay, this is one of my favorite topics. So one of the people that we follow that we both love is Jim Rohn. And Jim Rohn said, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So I jump right to this association piece. So one of the exercises I do in a boot camp that I run is I say, I want you to write down the 5 people you spend the most time with. So I give people a few minutes to do that. And if you're listening, you might want to pause and even try this exercise. Write down the 5 people you spend the most time with. Once you have that list, I would just want you to take a step back and look at it, because that's who you're becoming. Do you want to become those people? And if the answer is no, then it might be time to walk away from some relationships. Now, hold on. Let me be clear. I am not talking about your marriage. If your marriage needs help, get help. But let me give you an example. In one case, one of the persons that I was working with, it was her mom. And she said, and I had said, you might need to distance yourself from these people on your list if they are negative, if they're providing a negative influence, because the truth is we are all more malleable than we would care to admit. So you'd like to think, well, but I'm positive, so I'm going to help elevate them. False. The truth is they're probably going to pull you down. But she said, Heather, what do I do? It's my mom. And I said, I strongly recommend that you talk with your mom about this, because you do need to have that relationship. But at some point, if you need to just distance yourself a little bit, then that might be helpful. It's sad. I mean, it's your mom, or maybe it's your brother, your sister, a family member. I don't know. You might have to back off from the relationship a little bit.
That's hard when it's a family member.
I don't know what
But
to
I mean,
say.
even if you just cut back a little bit, or maybe you're not sharing some of the things you're excited about so that it doesn't bring you down. Like if it excites you and is going to push you to your goals, or, help you build your business, like that's great. You're going to get some momentum there because you are feel motivated and ready to go. And when you talk about it with somebody else and they don't feel the same way and they don't see your vision, like they might try to bring you down a notch. So if you can't limit your time with that person, limit what you're discussing with them.
That's a great strategy, because you still should maintain a relationship with your family members, of course.
I couldn't give up my mom.
No, of course not. But is there anybody in your life that when you did that exercise, you looked at that list and thought, a hard look?
Yes. And it's someone I actually work with. No, it's not you.
I would hope not.
I would not be doing this podcast if it was you. I just wanted to set the
Okay,
record
thank you.
straight.
Because I was wondering.
You were wondering, I bet. It was someone I work with that I just feel has a very negative attitude towards everything, and always looks to me to solve problems for them. And I didn't feel it was a very like mutually beneficial relationship. And I really want those people that bring something to my life and I bring something to their life. I think those are the best kind of relationships. So I had to cut back a little bit on, I didn't cut them out because they're someone I work with. So I
Right.
can't just say like, okay, we're done. But I had to limit what I'm discussing, how I'm speaking with them, how much time I'm spending with them. That was hard. I mean, I'm not going to lie, it is hard to do that because you will find that the 5 people you spend the most time with are probably some of your closest friends. And sometimes they're not always like the best influences on you.
It is hard, but you need to evaluate it, and you need to evaluate it honestly. If they are bringing you down and you are unable to help uplift them, then it might be time. So people will ask me then, okay, I've identified this person. They're my best friend. And we've been best friends since elementary school. And I say, you can still maintain a relationship, but you can distance yourself.
Yeah.
You can distance yourself. And I've had to do it. I've had to walk away from some very close friendships, people I truly cared and still care about, but I could not let their negativity or that influence affect my life. I couldn't. I tried to help. You try to help, of course, but it comes to a point where it's just
If they're not taking advice and trying to
or
better
responsibility.
themselves, you know, they just can't. And it's hard for us because we're in a different like frame of mind for us, and we take ownership of things. A lot of the things we've talked about in this book, we do that other people don't do. So it's very hard for us to be around people when you just want to shake them and be like, what are you doing? Just
Right.
listen to me.
Right.
But we can't control people, you know, but we can help them along the way. But it's their choice whether they take our advice.
It is their choice. And if they don't, I have to distance myself. Something I learned about, one of the best things you can do is know yourself.
Yes.
Know thyself. And several years ago, I learned that I was more malleable than I would have ever cared to admit. I thought it didn't matter. And I realized quickly it did. At one point, Craig said to me, I don't like who you are when you're around her.
Oh.
Now, you could have one of 2 reactions to that from your husband. You could go straight into defense mode, which is you're not going to tell me who to be friends with. Or you could think, wait a minute, this person cares and loves me more than anybody in the world, and they're telling me something that I need to listen to. It was very hard to hear that. But when I did, and ironically, he said that to me, and around the same time, my mom said something similar to me about the same person. And I thought, okay, these are 2 people I trust and care about, and they're saying that to me. Wow. Okay, now I do not suggest that you call up this best friend and say,
Hey, you're no longer good for me. You're out.
I'm breaking up with you. No, that would not be kind. I think you just distance yourself. You just, like you said, you
pull back a
limit.
little. Yeah, you have to limit yourself. I mean, it's not that you don't care about those people anymore. You do. But when they're starting to influence you and how you feel about yourself and the ideas you have, the goals you have, it's not a good spot
I
to
read
be.
previously I can't remember what book recently about dream killers. That you could have a friend that you have all these dreams and you're starry-eyed and you're trying to make things happen, and they're more realist and they're kind of bringing you down. Now, I do believe there are 2 types of dream killers. There are dream killers who are just negative and they don't want to see you succeed. But then there are also people who say, wait a minute, is that realistic? So there can be good to that.
Yeah.
But you don't want someone who is consistently bringing you down or questioning your success. Those are called frenemies.
People who are jealous. You have to watch it. People like sometimes get jealous. Like, look at all that she has, and then they try to bring you down because they don't have what you have. You just have to be careful of who you're spending time with.
That's the association piece.
Associations,
You
yes.
also mentioned the input, what you feed your mind.
Oh, ready?
Yep.
Are you ready? Straight back into the book. If you want your brain to perform at its peak, you've got to be even more vigilant about what you feed it. Are you feeding it news summaries or mind-numbing sitcoms? See previous episode about Netflix been watching. Okay.
Right?
Are you reading the tabloids or Success magazine? Controlling the input has a direct and measurable impact on your productivity and outcomes. Controlling what our brains consume is especially difficult because so much of what we take in is unconscious. Wow. Mm-hmm. Although it's true that we can eat without thinking, it's easier to pay attention to what we put in our bodies because food doesn't leap into our mouths.
I never
I'm sorry.
accidentally ate
I
something.
think that pizza did just slip into my Darren Hardy. I don't know what you're talking about. We need an extra level of vigilance to prevent our brains from absorbing irrelevant, counterproductive, or downright destructive input. It's a never-ending battle to be selective and to stand guard against any information that can derail your creative potential. This is why I don't watch the news. I can't.
This paragraph, this whole section about garbage in, garbage out is hugely important. You are absorbing something into your brain every minute of every day. Is it good or is it bad? There's no such thing as neutral content. It's either elevating you or not. I say this to my kids if they're watching something on YouTube. It's just not good for your brain because it puts you in a certain state of mind or thinking a certain way. You become a part of the story that you are either reading or watching. If you're watching something on the news, your brain thinks that that's happening to you. So you internalize it and then you start to view the world.
I get anxiety when I'm,
Yes.
you hear things on the news and you're like, oh my gosh, the world's coming to an end. And like, it's just not a good situation to be in. And this is why we feed our brain with books. Like, this is how I would rather spend my time than sitting in front of the TV.
For sure. And something
Netflix and when watching The Office.
There are a few exceptions.
There are a few exceptions.
You had read a part where he said, are you reading the tabloids or Success magazine? So you'll go into someone's home, you'll see People magazine or something like that. It's just not good for your brain. You were kind enough a little more than a year ago to get me a subscription to Success magazine. It is absolutely my favorite thing in the entire world. Thank you.
You're quite welcome. I love that magazine. And that came from my husband who read this book. He read this book while he was waiting for, like, we talk about my husband a lot, but he read this book while I was waiting for like an oil change at the car dealership. And then he read something about Success magazine saying that Darren's founder of Success magazine, publisher. And so he was like, Mara loves these books. I'm going to get her a subscription to Success. So he found out how to get a subscription and got me one for Christmas.
That was great.
And it was the best gift he has ever given me. And then I was like, I need to get this for Heather.
Thank you.
And I gifted it to you.
Thank you, Tony.
Yeah.
And I think something you said really stuck with me when you very first got it. You said, this is one of the only magazines that I've read cover to cover every time. Every
time. I do not skip a page. Even if I'm like, this article doesn't seem like it's going to reach me, I read it anyway because I know there's something in there that I can gain from it. And I have a hard time throwing them away.
I can't
because I have things highlighted and pages turned down and I'm like, want this book because it clearly $230 on Amazon an hour ago wasn't enough. But it is cover to cover. I read that book or magazine. And I don't get any other magazines. It's the only magazine that
Same here. And it's thanks to you. Actually, I love it so much, I won't throw it away. I pay my kids to read it. I pay my children.
Pay them. Oh.
They get $10 if they read the entire magazine and they write a summary on their favorite article.
Can you pay me?
Negative.
Well,
thank you. Somebody said that to me once. Can you pay me to read?
I'm trying. Yeah. I'm trying every which way.
So kids are motivated by money,
yes,
obviously, and they would spend their time. My kids are great readers. They read like crazy. So they get that from me for sure because they see me reading all the time. You want your kids to read, set a good example and read. But so it's not a stretch for me to say, hey, read this magazine. They can read it in one sitting. They get $10 and I win because it's getting into their brain. Now, the funny thing is, though, sometimes they'll try to coach me on things that they read. Like,
yeah, your daughter tries to coach me.
Oh, my. For real.
And I'm like, nice try, Ella. Yeah. I'm not so sure.
It's not happening. But isn't that interesting that I'm trying to work on some of that input
for my kids. How do you limit the garbage in for you? I know you don't watch the news either, do you?
Zero.
Yeah.
Zero. And this is not about being uninformed, okay? If you need to know what's happening in the world, sure, at a high level, for sure. But you just don't want to get that into your brain.
I don't need to watch, like, the evening news or like the 6 p.m. news and then the 11 p.m. news, nothing changed, okay? If I need to watch the news once a week and get my snippets, fine. That's okay. But I can't sit there every day and watch the same stories over and over and over again.
Oh, it's awful. I think it was Einstein that said the most important decision you can make in your life is whether the world is for you or against you, whether you're living in something good or bad, your outlook on the world. And I choose to look at it as I know there are bad things in the world. I know this. But I want to look at the world as a friendly place to live. So I'm going to choose to limit what I see. Yes, there are bad things. I am very thankful for the people that manage those things, but I can't. So I limit I don't watch any news. I watch very, very little TV. The kids and I will watch maybe a show about Alaska or something, or
Wild bush people
something like that. Or we watch like beachfront bargain hunting or something. I don't know. But if they put on a show that they don't watch, my kids don't watch a lot of TV, but if they put on a show and I sit down, I will spend 2 seconds. I'll make a decision and say, this isn't edifying to my brain, and I'm out, and I'll go grab a book and read. And I also try to obviously limit their time in front of technology and what they are getting bombarded with, especially their young minds, because they're forming opinions about the world. This garbage in, garbage out. And by the way, even as adults, our parents were saying this to us when we were kids.
Oh, yeah.
Why you listen to that music? It's not good for your brain. Yeah.
The other thing that I do, because social media is a huge trap, okay? And most of what we see on social media is fake. And people only post the good stuff about themselves. But what I tell a lot of the women that I work with, and one of my, I created this guide that's 10 activities to help you learn to love yourself. And one of the things is being intentional about what is put in front of you, because you have control over that, right? You have the power to say, okay, that's not for me. So what I do on Facebook is when I'm scrolling through and I see ads from companies that I don't agree with their message, or I'm sick of hearing about lose belly weight or whatever, I click hide ad and then hide all ads from this company so it doesn't come up. Or if people share things from pages I don't care about, you have to filter it out, and you have to take control of that. You can't expect Facebook, who wants to make money off of you, and the companies using Facebook, that they're going to filter things for you. Right. You have to filter it.
Right. You are your filter.
Yes. So I filter it. My Instagram is filled with body positive people, motivational people,
or it's gone.
And friends, or you're out. And even we're all friends with people we don't really know. But if I see someone that's posting constantly negative things, I just block them from my newsfeed, because I really don't want to be pulled into that.
One thing you had said to me that I really like, and maybe even got it from this book, because I see it in here, but I feel like I heard it from you, was to put yourself on a social media diet.
Yes.
And limit what you're seeing. And if you're seeing, block them, hide them, or here's a better idea, don't go on the Facebook. How about that?
Oh, yeah, that's the next thing. Oh, very good segue, Heather.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to dive right back into the book, okay? And this is about putting yourself on a media diet, as Heather was just talking about. The media thrives on taking us hostage. Ever been stuck on the freeway with traffic backed up for miles, making you late, wondering what the heck's holding everything up? Sure enough, when you finally get close, you see that nothing physical is blocking the flow of cars. The wreck clearly happened a while ago and has since been moved to the side of the freeway. The 3-mile-per-hour crawl was caused by people rubbernecking. Now you're really irritated, but what happens when your car passes the wreck? You slow down. Take your eyes off the road in front of you and crane your own neck.
You do the same thing.
Yeah.
So
you can't resist. We can't help ourselves. Even if we're adept at avoiding negativity and have trained ourselves to be relentlessly positive, when it comes to sensationalism, our basic nature can't resist. Media masters understand that. They know your nature in many ways better than you. The media has always used shocking and sensational headlines to draw attention. Okay, I'm going to tell you one thing.
Tell me.
Okay, years ago, before I stopped this news stuff, my husband would watch ABC Nightly News or something. And I can't tell you, if you ever watch it, sit and count how many times they say the word stunning. They say it every night. Stunning images from the mudslides in California. Yeah. Stunning images. they use these buzzwords to like pull us in. Like there's something we have to see. Stunning?
Yeah.
What's stunning?
I
I
need
love
to
the
see
word
it.
stunning.
Yeah.
I want to know and it's nonsense. It is complete nonsense. Media diet ASAP.
Cut it out.
Cut it out. Okay, so I think we should wrap up chapter 5 here, and then we'll pick it up again in the next podcast. We have a lot to say about this chapter.
Chapter 5
Chapter
is
4 and 5 are like 4 and 5 are
really good.
Really, really good. So, one strategy you think, and as we end chapter 5, I would say the media diet is probably the most important. I only want you to allot a certain number of hours per day that you're going to be on.
Whoa, friend.
What?
How about minutes? What's with these hours?
Look, you're being the hard.
Okay.
The tough love. I'll be the good cop. You be the bad cop. I like.
I'll take it. Okay. It doesn't scare me. I mean, why does it have to be? Okay. If you spend excessive hours, yes, scale back.
Scale back. But like I'm on social media for my business.
Sure.
So what I try to do when I have a group on Facebook that's for my boudoir and self-love community, and I spend my time in there because I know that content is positive and reaffirming for me and doing what I'm supposed to be doing with my life. So limit where you're spending your time. Okay, is that better?
That
hours,
is better.
Okay.
Minutes.
I say hours, she says minutes. It just depends on how much you're doing right now.
Yeah.
Like, if you're spending 10 hours a day,
it's a problem.
Then you need to cut.
How about this? I have an idea. If you're not on Facebook for your business, why is it on your phone? I didn't have it on my phone for years. And the only reason it's on my phone right now is so that I can do live videos in my group. But beyond that, I take it off of my phone. Do you really need Facebook on your phone? You certainly don't need messages. No, you don't need Facebook on your phone. Take it off of your phone and that will help your diet because it won't be there.
It won't be there. It's tempting. You have to be sitting at your computer.
Yep.
That's super good.
Good.
Okay, great. Thanks everybody for listening as we wrap up this chapter. Well, this section of the chapter because we have a lot to say. Heather, can you tell everyone how they can support our podcast?
I would love to. Please subscribe to the podcast on iTunes or wherever you listen to podcasts. Please like, share, leave a review. And if you prefer video, you can also watch and subscribe to us on YouTube. Just go to Flourish.Academy.tv. We'd love to hear from you and see your comments. And if you like the content, please share it with your friends by posting on social media so that we can reach and help more people. And if you want to pick up The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy or any of the books that we discuss in the podcast, please use a link in the notes so that you can shop on Amazon because that's our affiliate link and it does help offset the cost of the podcast.
We're still calling Amazon. Amazon, where are you?
Can you do something for us, Amazon? No, they have no clue who we are.
They don't care about us.
No.
All right. Thanks everyone for listening. We'll catch you next time.